Well, I'm just going to stop you there because we have another special guest that's going to join our conversation, if you don't mind. And for our next conversation here at the World Climate Institute Dialogue series, we're going to focus again on the state of Gujarat with our next guest. It is a great pleasure to welcome him to the stage. Please give a very warm welcome to the President of the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Pathik Patwari. Thank you so much for joining us, for being with us here today. Time out of everyone's busy schedules, by the way. A jam-packed agenda, of course, as well. Let's start off with SMEs and startups, which I think should really be at the forefront of discussion. Let's talk about some of the schemes for assistance within industries here in the state, and some of maybe the success stories to date as well within the climate agenda as well.
To start with, I would like to first say that India, like what Samir said, India is a country that has worshipped sun, that has worshipped earth, that has worshipped water. So we are much before the world was eyeing sustainability. Right? So I think India doesn't need any preachings, any teachings. We are there. It's just that we need to reassign, remodule the way we are working. We should not forget that we are the manufacturing hub today of the world. So if a country is doing good elsewhere, it's because India is producing it for them. But we don't run away from our responsibilities though. So coming back with what you said, Gujarat, like you always want your best player to be on the field for the longest time. And for India, Gujarat has been the role model state. Any policies that have been implemented pan-India have been first introduced to Gujarat. They have been molded, nurtured, and then taken further up to the country. Likewise, it's with the solar policy, just one of the examples. And Mr. Heather is here, so he has been with this policy since inception. It started with a public-private partnership on implementing solar panels or solar installations of small 5 megawatts on the government buildings, that too in the capital of Gujarat, Gandhinagar, just outskirts of Ahmedabad. And it went so successful that it was then further extended to the other cities of Gujarat. And it's now become one of the most successful model of solar roof installations pan-India. And with one of, like Sir said, that it's one of the having highest densities of solar installations. And that happened purely because there was participation from the government, from the private and the individual funds, foreign supports like the country from Netherlands, and it was more of a cumulative approach because of which it became popular. And India or in Gujarat, I think the way forward is going to be the public-private partnerships when you would like to address such kind of issues.
That was my next question, actually. What is your outlook when it comes to those types of opportunities, when it comes to government mobilizing finance towards PPPs?
So when you talk about India, we call it Atmanirbharta. It's like self-reliance. And for Gujarat, we have our policies, Atmanirbhar policies, which says that when a project in renewable comes up, it requires a lot of capex. And to meet this capex, the government finances the interest, takes care of the interest burden on your capital investments. They also take care of funding the expenses towards procuring land, like the stamp duties and the various legal expenses that goes through of buying a land. So government has been there, has been handholding the industries, and they are trying to work on bottom-up theory, because Gujarat being predominantly MSME state, it becomes even more tougher for the government to reach each of them. But the policies are well defined, and the way they manage funds for the SMEs so that they could implement the green energy causes, they could address the possibilities of reducing the carbon footprints, is going very good.
That's very good to hear. Well, the GCCI last year signed a whole host of MOUs I've been reading with the Climate Change Department and the GOG to go green, to reduce carbon footprint and achieve net zero. That's everyone's mission at the moment, of course, isn't it, by 2070. Tell us more about some of the different significant signings that have happened in most recent sort of months, and those significant, and the significance of those going forward as well.
Sure. Like the Honorable Prime Minister said, and all of the speakers have addressed it, mission life, that is lifestyle for the environment. And it will be only possible if every strata of the people, community come together and address it. Industry bit though different then. And what this is doing is they are more empowering the industries in many ways. We are reducing on the waste generations also. At the same time, many ecosystems that were working around the waste generations have been now given more importance. We are speaking more about the policies that are going to be more friendly for the industries to reduce the waste.
And what about the impact of these signings on the startup sector in particular as well? Maybe you can chip in as well, maybe after you. Please.
Sure. So, in continuation with the agreements and various signs we have done with the IHub incubation centers, one of them was holding the startups to come out with initiatives or models or products that could be environment friendly. And for that, we needed all the ecosystem parameters to be on the same platform, whether it was a startup, whether it was industry, whether it was government or an investor. If all of these together, they come up on the same platform, try to address each other's need, and we could come up with a model that would be more friendly for the industry to be adapt it, at the same time without disturbing the price economics and giving out the deliverables equally. So it is basically the handholding the startups, encouraging them to support the industries. The industry should come out with their problem statements so that startups can start working on it. And this thing has to happen in tandem. So what we thought that we should handhold startups here. In fact, I would be happy to share that Gujarat Chamber of Commerce happened to be the first chamber in India which started inviting startups in their board meetings, and each board meeting would have 3 startups presenting their products. So on the very first day, they would have an exposure of elite community in businessmen who would be very ready to handhold them, mentor them, maybe invest in their products. So that's how it all started. I think we're happy that today we are getting quite amount of traction on that policy.
So important to have that type of dialogue as well, isn't it? Samir, your thoughts?
I think there are wonderful opportunities in this whole domain for startups. Energy is something which is very, very key because it's expensive and it's a huge opportunity to save energy and come up with and digital technology will really help. One area which I feel is still a humongous opportunity, but we are not really looking at it, is water. Because in India, we still consider water and air to be free. And I feel that is going to be our biggest challenge in the coming years. And we really need to look at that. And there's a lot of technology intervention that can be done in that domain. And I would love to see more innovation happening in the domain of water. The other opportunity that I see happening is this whole area of green knowledge, consulting, sustainable development, sustainable consulting. And that is where I would love to interact with other countries and learn from what they have done and how we can bring that platform, whether it is technology, whether it is just knowledge sharing, whether it is consulting for certification, for studies, for research. I think those are amazing opportunities ahead of us, and we must look at those.
That's the only way to grow, though, isn't it? To learn from each other. Cool. Sure. I wanted to touch very, very quickly in the last 2 minutes on technology and industry and what sort of direction that's going here in the States and also in India across the board. And the role of AI in that as well. And what are you sort of forecasting for industry in particular, how that's going to change over the next couple of years?
Like we said that India is going to be the world's producer. We have been replacing many other countries now. And this cannot happen without being very sensitive towards the environment. The industry today understands that. But at the same time, we have to understand that India has predominantly more SMEs. And they give more employment to rather than the large sectors. So to guide a small and medium enterprise is even more difficult. So what is currently happening is that a lot of small policies which governments are coming up are more focused towards SMEs. That's what I earlier said, it's going bottom up. And once you have your pyramid base stronger, you can build on these technologies and it can percolate more further. With AI being a tool which is now very well implemented, It's no more a technology that becomes very expensive. So it's getting adopted by the industry, very welcoming to do that. And with that, there has been more, more easier for the government to implement the laws. At the same time, industry has gone very positive. They understand their responsibility, and they know that it's not only mandatory legally to take care of the environment, but it is their moral responsibility. So what Samir previously told, that it's within our ethos, somewhere we've misaligned some time back, but we again back. We understand that we'll have to use all the technologies that are available. We'll have to implement it. They would come at a cost, but yes, that cost will be supported by the government. And with that together, so it will be a democratic way of approaching this problem, taking this problem as an opportunity. I mean, climate change is now a climate opportunity if we see in the other way. And if everyone, government, industry, and industry body like us comes together, I'm sure that we'll see a greener world tomorrow.
Collaboration really is key.
Yeah.
We cannot thank you enough for your expert insights there. Sadly, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Fantastic dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.